When I was growing up and developing as an artist, I was told that expressing your femininity was not good for you as an artist and that people would not take you seriously and that you had to downplay it. My name is Billie Zangewa. I'm South African from Johannesburg, and I'm a visual artist working in textile, predominantly silk. My work deals with daily life, universal themes, focusing primarily on the life of an African woman. Well, the thing is that I'm basically trying to connect with people in my narratives by focusing on very mundane events that take place in daily life. And I'm using my image because I have access to it in order to create a kind of a protagonist who's at the center of these universal themes. But also for me, it's a kind of a self-exploration and self-discovery that I'm sharing with the viewer and the public. The act of stitching for me is incredibly powerful in a way that's not obvious. And the first time that I came into this awareness was when I was a little girl, and my mother's sewing group would come to our house and they would sew there. And I saw how these women went into such a peaceful, quiet place after they'd been sewing for a while. And I said to myself, it's very interesting because some of the women come here with issues, marital issues, like home problems, but after half an hour of sewing, everybody's happy and peaceful and calm. And so I saw when I was a little girl that there's a quiet feminine strength in sewing that's actually something that's only between women. The men do not have privy to that information. So I think that's actually one of the reasons why I began to sew, because it was also a way for me to get into that empowered space of calm where you can make decisions clearly. So that's part of it, is the meditative kind of part of it. And also I think for me, it also speaks to the fact that you don't have to spend lots of money learning a new craft in order to become empowered. You can actually use a traditional method that's every woman basically has been learning for generations and generations and generations, and use that to empower yourself. So empowerment comes a lot easier than one thinks. I use fabric for different reasons. Firstly, I am obsessed with texture, rich textured surfaces. And I think that silk is the ultimate rich textured surface because it's so nuanced and the way it reflects and absorbs light is really very complex, and it's very easy on the eye, and it's a very pleasurable experience. Because for me, making art's not just about being intellectual or dealing with difficult issues, but I also think there's got to be some enjoyment in the experience. And so coming into silk was very accidental for me, but I think it's a case of that which I was seeking me. And also for me, working with textile also speaks to universality, because we all have an experience with textile. We wear clothing, we sleep in sheets, so it's part of the human experience. It doesn't have to be a special experience. It's something that we all experience every single day, wherever we live in the world. So I think, that subconsciously, that was also why I chose that, because that was part of connecting with people. But also it speaks to my identity, because when I was growing up and developing as an artist, I was told that expressing your femininity was not good for you as an artist and that people would not take you seriously and that you had to downplay it. And the rebellious person in me said, I'm going to find a way to be as feminine as possible, but make it so seductive that no one can criticize it. So it is definitely just saying that I think society is wrong to make women feel like we should be ashamed, because that was the way it made me feel when I was told that there's something shameful about being a woman. And I think that those kind of thoughts are very detrimental for our society. Patriarchy has a way of really kind of diminishing women with those kind of thoughts, that in the art world you're told that you can only do certain things and that you can't do other things. And actually part of that rebellion was the reason why I started including my child in my work, because women are not allowed to celebrate their children publicly. And I said, well, guess what? Here's another opportunity for me to disrupt, the patriarchal conditioning of the mind. So I call my work silk tapestries, not because it's a tapestry format, but because it's kind of a weaving of narratives. So it's more of a metaphorical kind of reference to what I do. The work you just made reference to is called The Rebirth of Black Venus. And for me, it's a very important work in the kind of transition from being a young woman who's not sure of herself, looking for approval outside of herself, to a woman who says, you know, I accept myself completely, and now I move forward just looking at myself and accepting myself and not looking from the outside for approval. In this work, I'm the Venus who's reborn and I'm hovering over the city of Johannesburg. So basically that's the Johannesburg skyline. And I'm naked, obviously, because I want to speak to my vulnerability, the fact that I'm exposing myself and being naked and just being completely open, you know, so I'm not trying to protect myself. I feel quite safe. I feel assured. You can see in the body language that this is, you know, a person who is confident and has no fears. And this was really where I started to kind of, in my stories, really focus on me, you know, what my personal growth is, you know, the kind of things that I struggle with, that, you know, the things that I celebrate about myself, like my great experiences, and also using it as an opportunity to highlight the position of women, but also to elevate women, so that in the image of people who see it, they go, whoa, women are amazing. So it's really like political image creation, so to speak.